Okay, so we'll go ahead and we're going to start a, I'll just start a blank project for this. And what we're going to do is, let's see, do we have a specific world we want to start in? Do we play it in the desert? Is that where we play tic-tac-toe? Desert tic-tac-toe? It's too hot to play tic-tac-toe in the desert? All right, so we'll go with the desert. So now we need to decide how we're going to represent our board. Okay, so tic-tac-toe is a 3x3 grid, right? All right, so we're going to need a total of 9 possible moves, is the idea here. All right, so and we want to solve this using just what we know, because we're going to MacGyver a solution here. So probably, since we're used to working with creatures on the screen, we probably want to get 9 creatures out here representing our spots. Make sense? All right, so let's see. Do we want creatures? Do we want? I guess we can have shrines or something. Let's see. Let's go back here to. We'll go to biped classes. Maybe aliens. You want who? Monkey King, this dude? All right. So we're going to call this guy, well, we'll call him Monkey King. Oh, MK1. All right, so that's one Monkey King. Put another Monkey King out here. This is going to be MK2. Actually, let's put him back here. And put another Monkey King out here. This is MK3. Oh. Put another Monkey King out here. This is MK4. Put another one, MK5. Another one, MK6. Another one, MK7. Another one, MK8. And another one, MK9. Alright, we'll back up some. Then we'll elevate some. Back up some. Alright, so let's position these guys a little bit better here. Say that's close enough. So that's our 3x3 grid. So right now we just have monkeys on there. Okay, so what we want to do is, and this is MK1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need to have a way of identifying when one of these positions has been selected and when one of these positions has not. All right, so for starters, let's do a couple of things. I want to try something. We're going to select one of our monkeys. And let's just have this guy say something. Actually, let's have him think something. And let's see. I might have it last too long. So we're probably not going to do that. I was going to have him say something for some period of time. So we probably want to mess with his size. That's probably the best way of doing it. So we're going to start off by getting all of our monkeys into an array. So we're going to have our, we're going to create a variable here in our, actually let's teach the scene how to play tic-tac-toe. So we'll add a scene function. Actually, probably a scene procedure. And we're going to call this guy play tic-tac-toe. All right. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to create a variable that has all of these guys inside an array. So we'll create a variable, and we're going to call this. We'll start off as the MKs, Monkey Kings. All right, and this is going to be a gallery class biped. Oh, we can actually make them specifically Monkey Kings. Perfect. All right, so we have an array of Monkey Kings called the MKs. We'll initialize this to be a new array. We'll put all our Monkey Kings in here. All right, so now I have a collection of my Monkey Kings. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and we can, oh, awesome. Thank you. You still have to do your homework. All right, so let's go ahead and mess around with some loops and shrink all of our Monkey Kings down. So those are moves that haven't been made yet, something like that. All right, so we're going to have we're going to say a for each. Have we done for eaches yet? All right, so we'll create a variable. We'll call this guy pause. He's going to be a whole number. We'll start him off at 0 because arrays are start with 0, right? We know we have 9 things here, so we're going to say while start off at true, whole number is less than. For right now, we'll say custom. So we want to say pause is less than 9. So while that's a true statement, we're going to go ahead and access one of our Monkey Kings. So we're going to get our variable. So what's it called? Oh, just the MKs. So we're going to how do I get one of those dudes? All right, so we're going to have to probably write a function in our scene, or a procedure in our scene. And we're going to tell this guy, he's going to be called shrink. And he's going to take in a parameter of Monkey King. And we'll just call this MK. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to tell that Monkey King to shrink. How do we get to this parameter? Do we assign? I'm not assigning. Let's see, what's the best way to get to that Monkey King? We have to do these individually. that's our Monkey King here. And we can tell this guy to get resize. So there's our parameter MK. We're going to tell him to resize himself. Let's just make him a quarter of the current size for right now. And we'll just do it however long it takes to do it normally. So now our scene knows how to shrink a Monkey King. So we'll go back to TicTacToe. So we go to our scene, and our scene has a function in it now called shrink. And we're going to shrink our Monkey Kings at bucket pause. And then we're going to go ahead and assign to pause some math, pause +1. So fill up our Monkey Kings with a bunch of Monkey Kings, or 9 of them. Start a counter off at 0, position 0. As long as pause is less than 9, we're going to shrink our Monkey Kings at bucket pause. So Monkey Kings at bucket 0, 0 becomes 1, Monkey Kings at bucket 1, 1 becomes 2, so on and so forth. All right. So this is play tic-tac-toe right now, where all our dudes should just shrink down. All right, so let's start off with this. We'll go back to my first method, and we want to go ahead and call play tic-tac-toe. So the scene will play tic-tac-toe, which we'll call this procedure. This procedure sets up the array, creates the counter, shrinks everybody down. Fair enough? All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Let me save this first. Let's call it tic-tac-toe right here. We'll go ahead and run this. And there's all my dudes shrinking down. Game's ready to start. Okay. Took a little bit of time, but that's fine. Game board is prepared. All right. All right. So now we want to go ahead and we want to ask to make a move. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask. We can do this a couple different ways. Let's just do it the most straightforward way. So this is move. We're going to make a move at bucket 0, bucket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, for our 9 different monkeys. So we'll just ask the user which which square do you want to make your move in. So let's go ahead and do this. So after we've shrunk everybody down, we'll go ahead and prompt the user. So get integer. We're gonna actually, we probably need a dude to say this. We can have the scene say it, right? Can the scene say stuff? Nope, we gotta throw a dude out here. So we gotta go back to our setup scene. And who is going to run the game? The Mad Hatter? All right, so he is going to run the game. All right, so we'll go back into our code now. And we'll go ahead and before we start the game, let's have him say some stuff. We'll say, let me set up the board. And we'll have him say this for a couple of seconds. We'll go ahead and set up the board. Actually, this will take a couple of seconds for him to say, but why don't we actually do this? This would be a fun way of doing this. So we're going to do, this is do together. And we'll go ahead and have him say, set up the board as well as go ahead and shrink everything down. So both of these guys will happen at the same time. So the Mad Hatter will say, let me set up the board. And he'll hold that thought for 10 seconds while the board actually sets up. It's because these things aren't actually happening in order. They're happening together. It's more of an interesting way of doing this. So you see them all shrinking down. Let's see how well we guessed at the 10 seconds. Nailed it. Ish. Nailed it ish. Probably could have been 9 seconds or 8.5 or something, but we'll say that's pretty good. All right, so now after that's done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to tell the Mad Hatter to ask the user for where they want to make their next move. All right. So, and we could actually probably have these guys say something too, and once they shrink down, that might be kind of fun as well. We can have actually, we'd have to write a function. I'm not going to have to do that because we don't have a direct way of accessing these guys. They have to be as an input to a function. So I could write a function for them to announce their position. So each of the dudes says, I'm bucket 0, bucket 1, bucket 2. But we'll just assume everything's fine. So we'll ask the Mad Hatter to get some information. So we're going to create a variable. This is going to be called user input. And this guy's going to be of type whole number. And we'll start it off at 0. That's fine. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to assign to user input the result of our Mad Hatter getting an integer from the user. Because we're going to end up wrapping this. We could have done it up here, but we're going to put this in a loop here in a minute. All right, so the message is going to be, please enter your, or a move, whatever. Okay, then we'll read that in. Now we need to go ahead and we need to make a move. All right, so making a move is going to be, we're not keeping track of X's and O's yet, but making a move is going to be asking our board to update one of the sizes of one of our dudes. All right, so we're going to write a procedure in our scene. And we're going to call this guy make move. And for right now, make move is going to just take in one parameter. He's going to take in a biped. Actually, he'll take in a monkey king. And then we'll call that guy MK again. All right, in a few minutes, we'll actually have him take in another parameter, what bucket number that was, because we're going to want to set some variables. But for right now, we're going to be good with this. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and set our monkey king. We're going to change his size. So we'll resize by a factor of, so 4 would get us back to our normal size, right? Because he's currently 0.25. So 4 times 0.25 will get us back to a factor of 1. So let's just do that. So we'll come back out here to our play tic-tac-toe. After we read in our user input, we'll go ahead and have the scene call his make move with the MKs at bucket user input. So that should, whatever bucket we choose, 0 through 8, so we're assuming we know those are the positions, it should make that one guy bigger. All right, so everybody's shrinking down. Enter your move, so let's do 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3 should be the middle row far left. That's our move. A little smaller than he originally was, isn't he? Well, maybe it's good enough. I don't know, whatever. All right, so that'll be our move, and then we probably want to have him keep asking us that question and making additional moves and that kind of stuff. So, you know, we're going to make a total of 9 moves. So for right now, let's put a, whoa, hello. Let's put a while loop out here. And we're just going to say while true for right now, just to see this kind of go down. And I'm going to update something here in a second. So we're going to get the user input. and then we'll make the move, and we're just going to keep asking them for that forever right now, seeing the mechanics. Now I'm going to go into shrink real quick, and we're going to do this duration for 1/4 of a second. We'll speed the shrinking process down a little bit. So we can now go back to play tic-tac-toe, and so we have 9 total. This should take, what, 3 seconds of answering or something like that? 2.5 seconds, 2.25 seconds. So we'll do let's just do 2 seconds. That should be good enough. All right, please enter your move. We'll do a 3, then we'll do a 5, then we'll do a 4, whatever. Now, at that point, somebody should have just won. That's the idea, right? Well, actually, probably not unless we cheated, but I cheat at tic-tac-toe, so those were all the same move. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go into make move, and let's make the guys happen. You know, they'll make the move quickly as well. Okay, so now let's see what else can these MKs do here. So these guys can what does set paint do? Is that like let us have a color? See what that looks like. Ooh, legit. All right. So this is red versus what red versus what other color is going to be good? We have to toggle back and forth. Red versus green. All right. So we're going to do that. So now we're going to add a parameter for whose move this is. So we're going to say value type is going to be, we'll just do it as a whole number again. We'll call this guy player num. Oh, that's fine. It's warning us. I'm changing this guy. It's letting me know there's one. I'm calling this guy once in my program right now, and I won't have enough parameters currently. So it's telling me I understand. I need to update the invocation. It's actually kind of neat that it warns us of that. Okay, so we're going to take in the player num here. So we want to ask a question. We're going to pass in a player number of 0 or 1. Player 0 is going to be a red move. Player 1 is going to be a green move. So if player num is equal to 0, make the guy turn red. If player num is equal to 1, make the guy turn green. So we'll ask our question, if player num is equal to 0, we're going to turn red. Else we'll turn green. All right, so now we need to go back into our play tic-tac-toe, and we need to toggle back and forth between whose move it is, right? So we need to give ourselves a variable before this loop. And we'll call this guy player move. He's going to be a whole number. We'll start it off at 0. We'll let player 0 go first. So this guy is going to be, I called it player mover is what I called it. Oh, whatever, good enough. All right, so, but after we make a move, we need to switch who our player move is. A couple different ways we can do this. We can do this in an if statement, just toggle back and forth between 0 and 1. Or we can always add 1 to it and then mod it by 2 to give us a 0 or a 1. Either one of those is reasonable. Probably the most straightforward way to do it is to throw an if statement in here. The if statement's going to say, if player mover is currently equal to 0, go ahead and make player mover equal to 1, else make player mover equal to 0. That should flip it back and forth, right? So each time through, we'll ask for user input. We'll make a move based on whoever the current player mover is. Then we'll ask the question, if player mover was 0, let's make it a 1 for the next time through. Otherwise, let's make it a 0 because it must have been a 1. All right, so we'll make a move at bucket 1, then a move at bucket 2. There's our green, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're able to toggle back and forth between moves now. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and we want each, we need to remember those actual moves. Right now we have a visual representation of our moves, right? Where we're remembering that we're visually seeing I made this move, but we have no way of referring back to this move right now. So we need to have some way of remembering those moves. We could teach each of our monkey kings the player that moved them, right? We could have them remember whether it was player 0 or player 1 that moved them. They already know how to report their color. I assume they can report their color. We'll see in a second here. So when we make move, we need to go in here first of all, go to our monkey king, and we're going to add a property to each monkey king. So every instance of our monkey king is going to be able to remember the player that moved them. That make sense? So add a property. Here we'll call this who moved me. And this guy's going to be a whole number, and we'll default it to. Actually, we will set it to. Well, that's not going to fly in there. We're going to set it to 0 here. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do before we resize, hold on a second. Oh, we need to do this guy. Set. Oh, we need to click on our monkey dude. So we need the one that was passed in, which is just called MK. So MK has a procedure called set who moved me. And we're going to set who moved me to whatever player num was passed in. So each one of our individual monkey kings are going to individually remember which player called the make move function, make move procedure, to move them, to shrink them, or in this case, grow them. Make sense? So we're going to remember that 0 or a 1. Because we're going to reference back to this later on when we try to detect if there's a winner. After each move, we need to ask the board, is there a winner? And we're going to have to go through and talk to each monkey king, okay, and ask those monkey. It would be funny, people walking down the hall, we're talking about monkey kings, and okay, we have to ask each monkey king, are you moved, first of all? Okay, are you moved, first of all? And who moved you? Now, right now, how do we tell if they've been moved? We go back in here, we go to our monkey king, and we go to the who moved me. Right now, I have it defaulting to 0. Couldn't I set it to -1, and that means he hasn't been moved yet? So if his who moved me, if a monkey king's who moved me property is still -1, that means he has not been moved. Otherwise, it's either set to a 0 or a 1 for a real player having moved him. Make sense? All right. So now we'll go back here to make move. All right. So we'll do this. We could also, if we wanted to be explicit about it, and this is actually a good idea here, in my opinion. We have a monkey king here that we're shrinking. We can go ahead and explicitly set who moved me for that monkey king to -1. That's resetting the board. And that's going to be important if we decide to play the game multiple times. So even though we defaulted the original who moved me variable for every monkey king to -1, we're explicitly setting it here. When we reset the board, we set the value to -1. We visually see that rather than the other one kind of falling into the background. Does that make sense? Caramel macchiato, very nice. Should I give him homework over the weekend? Should I give you homework over the weekend? I can't decide if I. So have you read my cats died? Do you see that on Facebook or on Slack? I put both my cats to sleep yesterday morning. Sucky day. So I have to decide: do I punish you? Do I take out the rage? Or if I don't give you homework, maybe everybody will make like a little, like a memorabilia thing, right? In my office, I have a hover a thing. I put a video up the other day of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hovering above the. I brought in my cat. We had two of them left, but one of them was like my favorite cat. I always said she was Jewish, so I brought in. She has a Jew mouse, so it's a little blue mouse with a Star of David on it. So now it's hovering in my office. It's a little ghetto because I had to put it on a piece of cardboard to keep it from falling over. So I think it looks all right. So I have to decide if I'm going to punish you or not for the rage. It's weird not having, when you had pets for so long. And last night was the first night in 12 years that we slept in our bed without cats crawling all over us. Strange, right? What are we going to do? But now I probably get my Florida condo in January. My wife never wanted to be away from the cats for more than like 10 days. Well, I'm off for 7 weeks, after, between semesters. So it seems like I should just buy a condo down in Florida and go golf for 7 weeks.
That's the only logical thing.
I mean, we usually go down to Florida during that time, and I golf for a couple of days, and we go on a cruise or something. It's like every year we do a vacation during that time. But my wife is a remote programmer, so she can work anywhere in the world. She just has to work Central Time hours, and I'm unemployed during that period of time. I have my consulting business, but I don't have to schedule people. I'll just go golf and fish and stuff in Florida while she, makes our money. Yeah. But she can go and take the laptop and work by like the pool or something. I mean, that's legit, right? So it's not like total like slave driver, especially in January. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess there's pros. Might have got my condo. All right. So in any case, we'll explicitly set the who moved me variable to -1, just so we almost as a visual reminder as well. Plus, this now allows us to play the game multiple times. All right. So play tic-tac-toe. Resets the board, goes through, asks for some moves. Now, when we try to make a move right now, make a move is automatically making a move. But don't we probably want to know whether a move was successfully made? Make sure we didn't cheat. Can't move the same place more than once. So what I'm actually going to do here is I am going to, I don't think we've dealt with we've dealt with this bridge before. I'm going to create inside of our scene a function called makeMove. Okay? But we're going to try to make a move. And this function is going to return a Boolean whether or not a move was successfully made. Was it a legal move or an illegal move, which will tell our play tic-tac-toe procedure whether or not we should switch to the next player or scream at them saying this was an illegal move. Make sense? So the return type here is going to be Boolean. So we're going to call this guy try to make a move. All right, and we'll add a parameter. This guy will take in a monkey king. And we'll call this MK. This guy will also take in a whole number. was it player num? Doesn't matter what we called it. We're calling it different here. And I'll steal most of the stuff from in here. So copy to clipboard, try to make a move, bring it in from the clipboard. Except it's a different MK. They look very similar, but. And then we'll grab this guy. So, well, we'll bring it in for right now, but we have to reorder the stuff a little bit. All right, then I should be able to grab this whole if statement. Whoop. Is it dying? I think it's dying. Oh, there we go. All right, so, and now let's just update these. This is this player num, and this is this MK, and this is this MK. All right, so before we even set the move, we need to make sure that this particular monkey has not previously been moved. So if we're going to make this a math. So let's just say if it's less than 0. So 0 is less than 0 for right now. And we're going to replace this with, we have to get our monkey king here, MK. And this is going to be get who moved me. If get who moved me for the monkey king we're trying to make the move for is less than 0, then we need to go ahead and return true, because a move has not been made. Otherwise, we'll return false. Could not make the move, because you had already made this move. So if his get who moved me is less than 0, a move had previously been made, and we're just going to return. I'm sorry, if it's less than 0, we're allowed to make a move. So we'll do our move stuff and then return true. Otherwise, a move had previously been made, and we'll just return false. So now we can go ahead and we can set who moved me to player num. Go ahead and resize that particular monkey. And then find out who made the move and color him appropriately. Okay? So if we're allowed to make our move, make the move and return true. Else return false. Make sense? So this is try to make a move. So we'll go back to play tic-tac-toe. And now, instead of saying make move right here, we're going to talk to our Mad Hatter. Actually, it's not the Mad Hatter, it's the scene, right? And we're going to try to make a move, except we need to store that in a variable. So we're going to create a variable before here. And this guy is going to be a Boolean. And we'll call this guy move success. We'll start it off at false. So we'll go ahead and assign move success equal to try to make a move, passing it MKs at bucket. What am I doing here? Oh, that and then our player mover. So which monkey king and which player is trying to make this move? All right. So now what we need to do is we need to throw another if statement in here. We need to ask about move success. If move success was true, we're going to update this value. Else, we need to yell at them, and then they're going to make the move again. Okay. So we'll ask the question if, let's throw it right, whoa, we're not going to throw it there. Let's put it right there. So if move success, so if that guy is true, if move success is true, this is a Boolean expression, right? Boolean expression is any expression that boils down to a single value of true or false. So if move express is equal to true, it will already be true. We don't need to put this in a conditional or a double equal sign situation. So if move success, if that's true, then we'll go ahead and do our normal stuff. Otherwise, Mad Hatter's going to do some screaming. That's an illegal move. And he'll try again. Okay, we'll ask him again. So now we'll go ahead and, well, let's just play this now. Set up the board. I'll try to make move 1. I'll make move 1. Ooh. Let's see. So I made the first move. He shrunk down. He returned move success. If move is true, then do this. Else.
You still have the procedure.
Oh, I still have the make move in there. Oh, this guy. Thank you. So we're not using make move anymore. We're now using the function, the try to make move. Didn't like that. So try to make move. We're going to pass it the monkey at position pause. That should be. Oh, why am I? I'm not passing at position pause. I'm passing at user input. It's just bad. Pause was from up here. User input's what we asked the user to where would the user wanted to make their move. Now we should be good. All right, so there's that. I'll try to make it bucket 1 again. That's an illegal move. Not allowed to do that, so we can go bucket 2. That one's green, so on and so forth. All right, so now after each move, we need to check the board for a winner. So winners mean that we have well, either the same color or really it's the same player made their move across the top, middle, or bottom, down, 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 or the 2 diagonals, right? So there's 8 different ways of winning. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check for winner. And let's go ahead and we're going to go to our scene. We're going to add a function. We're going to call this guy check for winner. This guy is going to return a Boolean. All right. And he's going to take in as a parameter the board. Let's call it the board. And this is going to be a gallery class monkey king array. So he's going to take in the current monkey king array as the board. And he's going to go through and he's going to check the board for possible winner. Okay, so we'll at least start this. We're probably 10 minutes from being done with the whole program, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and set a variable. We're going to call this guy winner row 1. And this guy is going to be a Boolean. And we'll start off at true. Except instead of true, this is going to be an or. I'm going to start off as true and true. So if either of these are true, if either the row 0, so basically monkey 0, 1, 2, was all done by player 0, or row 1, 2 all have player 1 as their move, then we have a winner for that row, right? So if we kind of write that logic in, so we have an and we have a, this is fine, an and. So if this is true, and this is true, and this is true, and what should this be? This should be that something is equal to say 0 and 0 right now. What's equal to it? We're going to say the How do I get to my board? Well, I guess we're out of time anyways, but we're going to get our board and we're going to say, is board at position 0 equal to 0? Is board at position 1 equal to 0? Is board at position 2 equal to 0? If all those are true, or equal to 1, equal to 1, equal to 1. So we'll finish writing that next time. No homework over the weekend.
Thank you.